The newly merged group outlined a long-awaited business plan on Tuesday, aiming to revive its historic car-making names and persuade investors it can overcome high debt and uncertain market backdrop and past missteps to close the gap on industry leaders such as Volkswagen AG, VW and Toyota Motor Corporation. And today is much more than a new chapter. We are writing an entire new book, Chief Executive Sergio Marchionne told reporters and analysts during a day of presentations in Detroit. And besides an aggressive belated push into Asia, Marchionne promised to increase North American sales by half as Chrysler broadens its lineup and the embattled Dodge brand digs in. And Fiat Chrysler said it would invest billions of dollars to build new models and ramp up output, predicting sales would surge to almost 7 million vehicles by 2018 from 4.4 million last year, a target some analysts thought highly ambitious. And it's definitely a tall order, but I don't think we ever expected anything less from Marchionne in terms of the ambition, said ex-BNP Paribas analyst Stuart Pearson. And even getting half or two-thirds of the way to those business plan targets would be a positive achievement industrially. It's then a question of what investors are expecting and what's already priced into the shares. And Fiat shares have risen 44%, outpacing a 5.4% gain for the broader sector. Zap, since the Italian company announced a January 1 deal to take full control of Chrysler and create the world's seventh biggest carmaker. The stock closed 1.2% lower at €8.47 on Tuesday. And the group, preparing to move its main share listing from Milan, Italy, to New York as soon as October 1, hopes its combined clout and profitable U.S. business can overcome European losses and propel it into the major league. And at stake are thousands of jobs, particularly in Italy where Fiat Chrysler plans to make many of the new Alfa Romeo models. And the core Fiat Marque's future growth prospects now lie elsewhere, brand chief Olivier François said, pledging model updates tailored to Latin America and Asia, including a long-overdue Punto revamp. And there is no easy fix, François said. We are all realizing that notwithstanding Fiat's great European history, things have changed. And Marchionne is seeking to emulate rivals such as Volkswagen by building global brands and a strong position in the rapidly expanding and high-margin market for premium cars, particularly in Asia, where the group lags behind its main rivals. And the company forecast Alfa Romeo would multiply sales more than fivefold to 400,000 vehicles in 2018 as it invested €5 billion, $7 billion, to add 8 new models and ramp up production. And Maserati sales would rise at a similar rate to 75,000 on the back of more than €2 billion of capital spending, while Jeep would double output to 1.9 million vehicles in 2018, almost half assembled at 6 new sites outside the United States. And challenges, and with sales of the mass-market Fiat brand expected to remain flat in a struggling European market over the coming years, analysts said the strategy made sense, though some were skeptical of the sales targets. And of all the plans presented so far, Jeep is both the most interesting and the most tangible, said ISI Group analyst George Galliers from the sidelines of the presentations. And the opportunity is clearly there, but 1.9 million Jeep units is a stretch, he added. The brokerage has forecast Jeep sales of 1.2 million in 2018. And Jeep, whose globally recognized products trace their roots to the iconic World War II vehicle, is seen as Fiat Chrysler's biggest opportunity to tap fast-growing demand for sport utility vehicles, SUVs, in Asia. And while Marchionne has a track record of deal-making in 10 years at Fiat's helm, he has been less successful at delivering a string of ambitious turnaround plans, with Fiat losing market share in its main European market amid delayed investments and some bad design choices. And there are other challenges too. Analysts expect the total cost of the revamp could top €8 billion a year, a big burden for a group with €9.8 billion of net debt. And then there is the market backdrop. Europe's car industry is battling to recover from the 6-year slump in sales, while demand is faltering in some of Fiat Chrysler's most important emerging markets, such as Brazil. And the U.S. market is altogether more buoyant, but Chrysler and Dodge have suffered lately from an investment slowdown in new models. And for the Dodge lineup, which lost ground as deliveries fell 6% through April, the company pledged to hold sales steady at 600,000 vehicles despite the discontinuation of the Avenger sedan and Grand Caravan people mover. And they kept Dodge because a performance brand can be profitable, said ex-automotive analyst Stephanie Brindley. But Chrysler will add a subcompact 100 sedan and new SUVs including a plug-in hybrid to restore sales from 350,000 last year back to their 2005 peak of 800,000, the company said. And with the welcome investments, the company is effectively returning the Chrysler brand to the volumes and share it has achieved in the past, Divisional Chief Al Gardner said. And, writing by Lawrence Frost, editing by Mark Potter and Matthew Lewis, and I saw this new Cherokee the other day. Between the slit front lights and the redesign of the back it and number 8217's hideous compared to older models. Good job guys. And back to top. And Thomson Reuters is the world's largest international multimedia news agency, providing investing news, world news, business news, technology news, headline news, small business news, news alerts, personal finance, stock market, and mutual funds information available on Reuters.com, video, mobile, and interactive television platforms. Thomson Reuters journalists are subject to an editorial handbook which requires fair presentation and disclosure of relevant interests. And NYSE and Amex quotes delayed by at least 20 minutes. Nasdaq delayed by at least 15 minutes. For a complete list of exchanges and delays, please click